one and all, and welcome back to Let's Watch Death Battle. I am the Max Feud Trades. Today's episode is Heihachi Mishima versus Geese Howard. Did you guys know, and I don't know if you knew this, because not a lot of people do, but that there are, in fact, other fighting games other than Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Killer Instinct? I know. Sounds absolutely insane to even consider, but it is in fact the truth. In fact, allegedly, this is the second time Tekken has been on this show, and the third time that the King of Fighters, or I suppose second time Fatal Fury, if you want to split hairs on it, have been on this show. Now, I don't know, that sounds pretty fake to me, but I do faintly remember episodes featuring other characters from the series, but they feel like they were decades ago at this point. My goodness. So, yeah, there you go. We've got a fight between two bad dads. They are boss dudes, and the camera is ever so slightly askew. I apologize for that. They are villains, they are bad guys, they do all of the crimes, and they are bad fathers to their children. It is absolutely pandemonium here. Now, as for what I know of the two, I know about Tekken and King of Fighters pretty casually. I'm not a super fan of either of them, and I didn't do a super gargantuan amount of, research into these two, but from everything that I know and have seen and understand about them, I have reason to believe that Heihachi is probably going to win this. I'm not sure by how much. It just seems like, from the feats that I know of from both series, that Tekken tends to get just that little extra bit more crazy, which is funny, because it's funny because when Ken and Terry fought, the whole thing was King of Fighters is just so much more crazy than Street Fighter, but now it's more a matter of Tekken being more insane than that, and yet despite that, Street Fighter was able to defeat Tekken. It's a crazy balance. Some characters are just stronger than others, it turns out. Crazy times, I know. But, yeah, it just seems to me, on average, that Tekken characters are probably, not all of them, but Heihachi is probably one of the strongest. I want to say top 5 bare minimum strongest characters, and that means he's comparable to some pretty crazy stuff, and he's done some crazy stuff, and supposedly he's dead now, but nobody actually expects that to be true, and he's gonna come back. He got like thrown into a volcano, but oh yeah, that's the other thing. That's another reason why you gotta think Heihachi's gonna win this thing, because he's always throwing people off of stuff, mostly his children, and Geese is known for falling off of stuff, so it's basically, one-to-one, it's a combo, it makes sense, it's like destiny, it's poetry, it makes sense. So, despite the fact that I think I'm more entertained by Geese and his absurdities, I assume they'll probably make lots of jokes about how bad at English he was for a very long period of time, despite technically, I'm pretty sure he is in fact an American character, which is funny. But while I find him more entertaining, I don't think he's going to win this. That's my guess. That's my immediate prediction. I guess I might be able to change it if they say something special, but I'm feeling pretty good about this. So, I suppose that's enough pre-ramble. Let's watch the episode and see what happens. Second villain fight, I just realized.
Heihachi Mishima,
that's pretty cool.
Billionaire megalomaniac behind the King of the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And Geese Howard, karate kingpin behind the King of Fighters.
These two ruthless
frequent
businessmen are
honker.
as talented at martial arts
As they are terrible at being dads.
Yeah.
Whose fury will prove the most fatal. He's Wiz and I'm
Actually,
Boomstick.
debatable,
And it's our
arguably,
job
I'd
to
say
analyze
that
their
while they're both
weapons, armor,
awful,
and
horrible
skills
people
to
in
find
every
out who
regard,
would
I think
win
Heihachi
a
is the
death
worst
battle.
father, because Geese neglected his child. He never threw him off
Mishima's
of cliffs.
is a multinational conglomerate so
So,
powerful
low
it
bar,
can
but there
field
you go.
armies massive enough to conduct world wars.
Yeah.
Its leader is the enigmatic martial arts master Heihachi Mishima. His goal? World domination.
Of
This
course.
dude treats male pattern baldness like an extreme sport. He taught his super intelligent fair best friend karate. And if he
Kuma!
doesn't like you, he'll strap you to a
Best
rocket
friend is a
ship
bit of
and
a
launch you into space.
overestimation.
He's like a kung fu Wolverine Elon Musk.
Well, he sure is something, all right.
The words you're looking for here are ruthless and bastard, Wiz. Heihachi didn't like how his dad, Jinpachi, who looks like the Charizard to his Charmeleon, was running the family business, so he locked him in
That's
the
a really
basement
good
to not
comparison.
get possessed by
It's
a
true.
demon.
Heihachi
Ooh.
built the Mishima
You
Zaibatsu
hate to see
into
stomach
the
tongues.
largest military developer in the world. And believe it or not, he's also a family man with a wife and child.
Sucks he had to kill his new baby mama with his bare hands after she got possessed by a demon too.
Yeah.
A different demon.
This was the Devil Gene, and it would prove to be Heihachi's greatest adversary for the rest of his life. Fearing his son Kazuya had inherited.
To be fair, he
the
chose
gene
to have it
of
be
demonic
that
power,
way.
He did what any loving, supportive father would do.
Toss his bitch ass off a cliff. If he climbed back up, it meant he was a devil. If he didn't, that meant he was A-OK. Except for being dead.
Yeah.
Which is basically what medieval peasants did to witches. The Mishima are old-fashioned.
Is
Now,
that
truly
the way to
alone,
say it?
without
Okay.
love or family holding him
Understandable.
back, Heihachi could focus on one thing: power.
And not just the kind that lets you finance a satellite in order to kick family members you don't like out of it, but the punchy, kicky kind.
You sure did a lot of that
Heihachi is a
too.
practitioner of Mishima-style fighting karate, based on real-life Goju Ryu, also known as hard, soft style.
Oh, that's too easy, even for me, Wiz.
That's a
Goju
lie, and
Ryu
you know it.
combines
You'll take
hard
any
striking kicks and
fruit, no matter
punches
how
with
low
open
it's
hands, circular
it's dangling,
techniques for
hanging.
grapples,
I
takedowns,
should have
and
used that word
throws.
more instead.
Heihachi's fighting style is aggression personified, with such techniques as the dragon uppercut, slash punch combo, and demon scissors.
And if he really wanted
It's
to,
like a really
he could
impractical
impale you
kick
on
to
one
do a
of his
flip,
hair
land on
horns.
your back.
Maybe.
Heihachi has even mastered the use
Pointy
of
hair.
heat or spirit energy to manifest lightning, like in his classic Electric Wind God Fist. His ki can even enhance
Watch as he
his
punches a
physicality
bear.
to frankly absurd levels.
Like the time he caught a bullet in his mouth. I'd say that's crazy, but he did the same thing to a tomahawk before shattering it with his teeth. How much of that blade
I know
did
the
he
bullet is
swallow?
technically
Dude
more
must have gave
impressive,
his beehole
but
braces.
I'd still
Or
say
the
that
time
one
he
was the
got
cooler moment.
dogpiled by a bunch of Russian androids called Jacks.
I don't
which
recommend
all
watching that, though. It wasn't very
self-destructed,
good.
Annihilating the temple he was in.
Yeah, he got up a bit later, infuriated, I'm sure, by the world's audacity to declare him dead from such a paltry wound.
Other Jack models were strong enough to destroy a 6-mile-wide apocalyptic
How dare they assume such a
asteroid
thing?
and survive being blasted by a satellite laser.
By taking a look at the size of the blast compared to the height of the
Oh,
clouds,
goody.
this laser
Math on
was
explosions.
packed around 1.6 megatons of TNT, and Heihachi can tear through the newest Jack models like that hatchet must have tore through his...
Boomstick!
Can't stop thinking about it, Wiz. Either end that's coming out of, it's not gonna be good.
After decades of dominance,
And yes, that was
Heihachi
Akuma, by the
finally
way.
hosted the King of Iron Fist tournament.
And who should show up to the fight but his son Kazuya for the salty runback, all grown up and
And
definitely
totally
not
a
dead by
future
Cliff.
death battle
Aw,
contestant.
Man, what I wouldn't give to beat the shit out of my dad and toss his ass off a cliff. Probably what Elon Musk's son will do after he finds out what his dad named him. That. Man, he and Heihachi are kind of similar.
He
He
named-
launches rockets, he's super
he
rich
named
and
him after
weird,
the
and I
noise a
wanna
printer
think
makes.
About Heihachi with a Twitter account.
Well, except for the whole martial arts thing. Musk is just some pasty lazy.
I did Taekwondo, I did karate, Kyokushinkai.
Oh man, he's been Heihachi all along! And that means his son is Kazuya! Someone keep their eye on him in case he throws him off a cliff! But hey, Muskie, if you ever host a King of Iron Tesla tournament, give me a call.
I don't know how well he'd do.
Humiliating defeat, Heihachi returned to battle his son
Man, it'd
once
be
again, and this
a
time
really
tossed
weird
him into
situation.
A volcano. These people really have a fetish for this one.
Just to
particular
openly,
kind of execution,
base your
especially
life off
considering
Heihachi.
It never works.
Beating his son ain't too shabby, considering Kaz is one of the strongest fighters in the entire world, even without the devil gene. Which,
Yeet.
surprise, turns him into a goddamn demon. He can fire laser beams fast enough to hit a satellite in a fraction of a second. And yes, this is the same satellite we keep bringing up.
Measuring how
They're
far
consistent,
Kazuya
you
was
gotta
from the
give him
satellite,
that.
His forehead laser would have to be moving at just over 1% the
I
speed
just
of
like
light.
his
And
forehead
the
laser.
Hatchmeister was fast enough to intercept this same beam in order to save Kazuya's life from his evil devil self. Maybe he had a change of heart. Oh.
No. I've seen the scene, no.
Okay. Or I could be wrong. Not after that. Man, they really hate each other.
Yeah.
Heihachi's grandson Jin got in on the action. 3 generations of Mishima men bonding over throwing each other off cliffs.
After
Yeah.
living a life consumed by hatred,
Quite the
drive
life.
for power, and
Ah.
that,
Why?
Heihachi reunited with Kazuya for one last battle.
What
to the
benefit
death and shed a
was there
single
to
tear
showing
at his
that?
son's complete transformation into a monster.
Oh, he did care. Maybe all of that crazy Bond villain bluster was just a facade for the heartbreak he suffered at destroying his own family and creating a cycle of violence, as so many fathers
I
have
mean,
before
it's
him.
not impossible.
Dad.
He fought Kazuya as he lived. A man. No cyborg enhancements, no devil gene, no whatever Yoshimitsu is. Heihachi fought his literal demons with nothing more than
Jury
his
has
stubborn,
been out on that
egomaniacal
for a long
refusal
time.
to give up until he could stand no longer.
Those who live by the volcano die by the volcano. Well,
I
at
guess.
least until he magically comes back in the next game.
Yeah.
And when he does, he'll be determined as always to rule the world with a Tekken.
Don't you mean Iron Fist? Oh, god damn it, Boomstick.
That's actually a really good. That's a good closing line. I won't compliment puns a lot, but that's a good one. That's technically a pun.
Welcome to the sun-drenched streets of Southtown, USA. Should
It
you ever find
sucks.
yourself there on vacation, you can rest easy knowing
It's
that Howard Connection
legitimately a bad
Protection
place to
Agency
be.
will keep you safe from the clutches of the local mafia.
Until you realize the Howard Connection is the mafia. Top-tier business model they got there.
And in control
Yeah.
of both stands the legendary Geese Howard.
Honk.
Okay, Wiz, that was all sounding pretty badass until you said his name was Geese. What kind of dork is named after a waterfowl?
I heard the honk.
The worst name I could think of would be Swan. His absentee dad may be an Austrian terrorist, but the only thing he's blowing
This
up is his
episode was
son's
written by
future.
someone who goes
After
by the name
Geese's mother
Swan, if you
succumbed
didn't
to an
know.
illness they were too poor to treat, 15-year-old Geese tracked his father down to kill him.
Before
As you
getting
do.
completely wrecked by his half-brother Krauser, who was 9 years old.
Oof.
Now, the ultimate
Same time.
scrub lord,
Not
Geese
bad.
found the martial arts master Tung Fu Ru to gain ultimate power and take revenge.
Geese fights with a combination of the deep, strong stances and hard-hitting combos of karate, the quick, deadly blows of kickboxing, and his primary style, Aiki Jutsu.
Translating to hard soft, which again, all too easy. Aiki Jutsu is all about throws, counters, and locks. It
Yeah.
focuses on using opponents'
I
weight
think-
against them, kind of like its
I think
descendant
that's his
Aikido.
best
And you
advantage.
can't
His
forget
attacks
the
are mostly
shit-eating
counters.
catchphrases.
Or at least he has a lot of counters. Predictable!
But what Geese was
That's
really
what he's
there to
known
learn was hippopotamus.
Jesus. With Hakyoku Seiken, Geese can absorb life
He didn't
energy,
even try.
chi, from the earth itself and mold powerful energy blasts.
His Rapukin rockets across the ground
Rapukin!
like a buzzsaw, while Raging Storm is a massive fanged geyser that'll devastate anyone nearby.
He can imbue these attacks with lightning called down from the heavens, or enhance his strength and speed to perform
These
blindingly
two are
fast
obviously
combos
very
of Deadly
comparable.
Rave and Rashi.
They got a lot of
Wait
similarities.
just a goddamn second, Wiz. Did Geese just throw that poor man straight into the air and then patty cake his nuts on the way back down?
That is straight up just Heihachi.
Pure evil.
Geese's master felt the same way.
Geese was a
sensing his
Tekken guest
people's darker
character.
intentions.
So,
instead of entrusting
interesting
the
they
dojo's
wouldn't
most
bring that
secret
up.
of scrolls to Geese, he gave them to his other student, Jeff.
Jeff!
Damn it, Jeff. I
He's
hate
fine.
him as much as Geese does. Kind of name is Jeff. Jeff.
Infuriated, Geese left Tung School to take
The
over
thing is,
Southtown's
Geese and
existing criminal
Heihachi
empire
interacting,
and
that's not
install
canon.
himself as the city's new
As far as we
crime
know.
Who, for some reason, demands to dress up in karate gi at all times.
Well,
Because
Geese's
he's a big old
appreciation for
nerd.
Japanese martial arts extends to the culture as a whole. Music, architecture.
He's a weeb, like a buff otaku Vito
That's not a
Corleone.
word I'd
Who do you
use,
think
but-
his waifu is? Himself? Ooh, I probably would too.
I don't know. I appreciate Geese's tenacity and
Gotta-
business acumen. It reminds me
Yeah,
of
just in case you thought
me.
Terry was the only one they made
Inventing
into a girl
reality-bending
version.
Weaponry for black markets around the globe has done my checkings account pretty well. Like my cyber goose.
Mega
Yay!
Goose Howard? Oh,
He's back.
please, Wiz, I've seen your student loans from Mad Scientist U. It's a sideways 8 next to a smiling turd emoji. I hear they sell self-respect next to the dollar pizza place you like so much.
Yay!
Despite being a
I was
badass
hoping they'd
crime
bring him
lord,
back.
Geese was
The-
still
the
plagued by
Mecha
inadequacy.
Geese.
So he took out his anger on the lamest person he knew, Jeff.
And he did it in front of
Rude.
his kids. I'm sure that'll turn out well in a decade or two. Wow, this guy has got to be the pettiest bitch in all of Southtown.
Oh, easily.
Jeff.
Oh, you think that's bad? How about when Geese had a son and left him and his mother in poverty? And when that son asked for help paying for his mom's illness, Geese ignored him.
Wow, without a hint of irony. After successfully conquering Southtown, Geese hosted the
did
King
he
of Fighters
forget?
martial arts tournament in order to solidify his position as the strongest fighter
Or
around.
maybe he just didn't have that
Chi
backstory
basically
element
was.
of it yet.
Geese
Who
is
knows?
powerful enough to obliterate
Either way,
entire
messed up.
swaths of forest with his chi and defeat the reality warping entity Verse, who could create a hurricane the size of a stadium.
Even Takuma, one of Geese's subordinates, was strong enough to redirect a blast from the Zero Cannon, a city-annihilating satellite laser.
That's
Considering the
true.
laser was intended to eradicate Southtown, which is a fictional stand-in for real-life South Miami, the blast would have to have a yield of around 1.7 megatons.
And judging by how fast it reached the Earth's surface, it must have been moving at over 2% the speed of light, and Takuma's fodder compared to Geese.
Seemingly unbeatable, Geese was finally confronted by Terry Bogard, the son of the man he
I'll
murdered
come back to
before.
that.
You know, Jeff.
Now that man has great taste in hats.
Me
After
do.
one of the fiercest
Me
battles
do.
ever witnessed, Terry defeated Geese and threw him from the top of Geese Tower to his death.
Didn't throw him, he
Until
knocked
came
him over.
back, so Terry threw him off it again. You can't keep a
Well,
good goose
Geese
down.
deliberately
Whether
fell
it
that
be
time.
manipulating future events from the shadows,
Terry
or
never
demonstrating
attempted
his
to murder him.
magnificent power in front of the whole world, Geese's tenacity will always strive to crown him the king of fighters.
Stay down, maggot.
I get you. I get you.
All right, the combatants are set.
Okay, so if we're paying attention to just the numbers that they're telling us, then it looks like they're making it out for Geese to be stronger and faster, because the laser that hit the Jack model was a little weaker and a little slower. And whereas the thing that Takuma guy was knocking away was a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. But I have an unfair advantage when it comes to things like this, because I know how they write these things and I know how they go about making their episodes, so I kind of already see where they're going. They mentioned other feats from other characters and even from themselves to an extent that I think were more impressive than those, and they're going to talk about those after this, I think. That would make a lot of sense, because I think the Jack destroying the asteroid or meteorite, whatever it is, I think that had to have been more. And I think even that creating a giant storm over that stadium, I think that was more than the laser that, you know, the Takuma guy knocked around. I think both characters have higher numbers, but those are the ones they're presenting us with, which is interesting. And they always try to, like, subvert you and try to mislead you around when it comes to these sort of things. So I think I'm gonna stick with my gut, my small amounts of research, and I think I'm gonna continue going with Heihachi on this one. I could be wrong. It's also possible that they're trying to lead me into thinking they're trying to make me think the other way around. So by doing so, they end up doing I end up falling into their diabolical plan to make me think that Heihachi's gonna win because, oh, they're gonna hide stuff, when in fact they weren't. It's hard to tell. At some point, I feel like they either have or they're going to do that more often. Once they start really understanding that people notice that that's what they're doing, it's gonna be a thing. Anyway, it's time for a fight. Let's watch this. It's gonna be fun.
Welcome to the final match of the International
I saw that this was happening on a volcano.
and King of Fighters tournaments. The prize, sole ownership of both the Mishima
That's
Zaibatsu
Ringmaster.
and the Howard Convection. Flagrant disregard of antitrust laws, but okay, let's go to our fighters.
Heihachi's
Mishima!
Heihachi's corporation is a bajillion times bigger than Geese's is. That's not a very fair deal. And I'm not supposed to think about that. Anyway. Ah! I love it. Heihachi's talking Japanese, And he is talking his English. That is broken English. You love it. Ow! What does that even mean? Heihachi is about 30 years older than Geese, but Geese is still in his 40s, so it's still weird. Oh. Look at that. Ow. 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 Oh. Ow. Alright, fair enough. Yeah! Hell yeah! Oh. Oh, that's not good. That's his best move. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Geese is done. He's done. That was literally his ultimate attack, and it didn't work. Unless something serious is about to go down. It even feels like Heihachi has gotten more good hits in. Oh, they're tuckered out. Yeah, kinda. Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Okay, first of all, that's brutal. Second of all, that was... Geese has a very weird shaped skull, according to that art.
Better break out the soy sauce for Geese, because this goose was cooked.
Both fighters
Kinda
had
figured.
the brutal tenacity and martial arts mastery to push each other to the limit, but Heihachi just had the greater limits to push.
Sorry, Wiz, this one was obvious. One of them throws people off cliffs, the other has people throw him off cliffs. Kind of a no-duh.
Well, I mean,
It was not no
Geese
duh.
falls off
In
buildings.
fact, Geese's
Little
wider
different,
variety
little
of chi techniques were able to keep Heihachi at a distance, and his ability to draw chi from the earth meant he could spam them for as long as he wanted.
But Heihachi has had plenty of experience with projectile spammers like Kazuya, whose
Yeah.
lasers are fast enough to reach outer space in seconds. He'd have no trouble getting in close.
yeah.
Heihachi's decades of combat training over Geese also allowed him to learn and adapt to his Aikido.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think
He's
about
even
that.
defeated Aikido masters like Nina Williams before.
Like straight up, he's got 30 years more
Entirely
experience.
Ultimately,
Fair.
it came down to who was stronger, faster, and tougher. Both scaled to characters like Jack and Takuma, who survived satellite lasers nearly equal to each other.
But both feats were performed pretty casually by weaker characters. So what could they do at their best? For Geese, let's look at his fight with Verse, who created that hurricane.
Ah, okay.
Size compared
That's
to
what
the
I thought.
stadium to get the mass of the clouds, making a storm that big would take about 1.8 gigatons of TNT, about 1,000 times more powerful than the Zero Cannon that could destroy Southtown.
So that was like
But we're
a
not
nothing
done.
feat in
One
comparison.
single Jack unit was able to destroy a 6-mile-wide asteroid heading toward Earth. Estimating its volume and density, the energy it would take to violently fragment it is nearly 8 gigatons of TNT, over 4 times more powerful.
That's why they
than
brought him
Earth's
up,
hurricane.
but they didn't actually say.
Heihachi
Yeah.
can tear through jacks like nothing, which is crazy.
There you
The
go.
Satellite laser
I hurt my leg
reacted to
slapping
was
him.
moving
Ow.
At about 4% the speed of light, twice as fast as the Zero Cannon and Geese's best.
Geese was
There
a
you
clever,
go.
ruthless opponent, but Heihachi's power, experience, and sheer bull-headed stubbornness allowed him to walk away the victor.
Man, this fight was so intense, it almost made me shit my pants.
The winner is Heihachi Mishima.
Okay. Okay.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We'll be
Sure.
jumping into the next matchup next week. But you can always get more
Oi.
Death Battle right now by clicking one of those boxes right over there and by downloading the battle music. Link
What
in
we
the
got?
description.
What we got? Oh my god! Did I hear him yelling from across the damn pond? Oh my god. It's finally happening. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so I guess I should probably start with, that was a great episode. I really liked that one. It was the first episode of the season where I truly felt invested, because I knew the characters, like, I knew the other characters that have gone into the fights before, obviously, but I felt like, I don't know, these are the ones I kind of sort of cared a little more about or something? I don't know, or it was more so, I think it was because it was a fight that I've always wanted to see, whereas the other three are fights that I'd either never thought of or thought were bad ideas. So I think that's ultimately why I thought this one was probably my first real, oh hell yeah moment, but I'll wait. I liked it. I liked the animation. I liked the analysis. I liked the way they went about it. I can already predict people being mad that they did what I thought they were doing and saving higher numbers till after the fight. I can already feel it in my bones. I've seen enough other reaction videos to know that that's something people get really grumpy about. As if this wasn't a silly internet show. Anyway, next time, that's Blake and me. Mikasa is how you pronounce her name. Haha, I know that. I don't know jiggity jack about Attack on Titan, is what I would kind of be saying accurately if, okay, if you don't know this, and you really should, I have a friend, he's got a YouTube channel, he goes by Your Only Mate, and he also does Death Battle reactions, and he sometimes does a couple other things too, and he's a very close friend of mine. His name is Mark, he is my friend, and he has wanted this fight longer than I think I've even known him. He absolutely loves Attack on Titan and Ruby, and Blake and Mikasa are his favorite characters, and he's thought about it and analyzed and researched and done everything for this fight that you possibly could imagine many times over. Oh my god, then I'm gonna have to wait to see his reaction. That's not fair. Oh, I need to see it now. If it weren't insanely obvious, this is the only little bit of merch I have available on my desk. I really, really freaking love RWBY. It is a wonderful show, and I like Blake, obviously, and You Only Mate Mark, he's taught me a lot about Attack on Titan over the years, and I feel like he's going to very safely say the victor is going to be one of them. I won't bring that up right now. I'll talk about it when it happens. But it seems like a pretty clear-cut one, but it should be a really cool fight. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be great. I'm so happy and excited for him. I actually kind of made this small, like, solemn, kind of silent pledge to myself, because I always knew that this fight was going to happen eventually. It was a sure thing, no matter what. It was going to happen. But I knew ahead of time that there were going to be a ton of people that are, Ruby on Death Battle, Rooster Teeth bias, blah, blah, blah. And all that bullcrap that, everybody on the internet always is constantly going on about. They're gonna say it's a bad matchup, blah, blah. They should have fought his, should have fought them, blah, blah, blah. I legitimately could not give less of a crap, okay? This is a fight for my friend. This is a fight that he's wanted for so long. It's going to mean so much to him. I know he's super excited about this. That's what matters to me. I only care about his thoughts and opinions on this. As far as I'm concerned, even though it's obviously not, this fight was made for him. This is his entire thing. This is the only word I'm ever going to look up on this. I even, as part of, like, just for fun or jokes, I'll always, like, look at comments and laugh at them, but, that I disagree with, but I'm not doing that this time. I don't want to hear what anybody has to say about the next one. Only him. This is his match, and it's gonna be amazing. And I feel like watching his reaction to the next episode is almost exactly equal, if not maybe even slightly higher than my hype for the episode itself, and it's already pretty high. This is a fight I've wanted to see too, almost purely through him. Like, I'm always down for seeing, Ruby and Blake. So it's gonna be cool, but, like, just his pure enthusiasm this entire time. Yeah, I have beard hair in my mouth, and point is, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. I'll see you all for the next one. It's gonna be good. I will catch you later.